and welcome to the last week of low back and sciatica. And this week in week 4, we are focusing on self-care. I cannot stress it enough. You guys have to make sure you take that time to take care of yourselves as well. So this week on the low back, we're going to be focusing on those external and internal obliques. Also, we're going to really be focusing on that Erector spinae muscle that sits deep into the back. Then we're going to get into the glutes again, but this time in the glutes, we're really going to be focusing on that piriformis muscle. That one starts at our sacrum and ends at the hip joint, and it sits right on the sciatic nerve. So when that starts to get tight, once you start to get pressure, it's going to affect your hips. It may pull your hips up and they may be off a little bit and have some pain. You also may have some pain in the low back. And with all that pressure sitting there on that sciatic nerve, it also may trigger sciatica. So I'm going to show you how you can alleviate that pain and tension in those areas with just using a tennis ball and a TheraCane. And we'll also use it on the hamstrings and the calves as well. And then of course, we've got to do some stretching. So are y'all ready to get into it? I know you are.
It's a full-time job, baby. Self-care.
Come on, y'all. Low back, sciatic nerve, sciatica, glutes. Here we go. All right, y'all. So I am going to show you how you can alleviate low back pain and tension, and also some pain and tension in that sciatic area, and if you do have sciatica. So what we're going to be doing today is focusing on the low back. We're going to be focusing on those external and internal obliques, and we're also going to be focusing on that gluteus maximus muscle again. But this time, this week, we're really going to focus on the piriformis muscle. That muscle right there has a lot to do with low back pain. So that muscle starts here from the sacrum and it goes here to the hip joint. And what it does is when that muscle gets tight, it will pull up. Your hips may get uneven. Your hips will start to hurt. Then you'll start to get pain in the low back. You'll start to get pain here in the glute muscles. And then what happens is that pressure starts to sit on that sciatic nerve because that muscle sits right on that nerve. So once that sciatic nerve starts to hurt, then you may trigger sciatica. So I'm going to show you how to alleviate that pain and tension. Here we go. Grab your tennis ball, grab any bare wall and yourself, and let's get started. So what we're going to do is find on the low back where that spot is, where it's tight. And for me, I can feel it's right here close to the sacrum. So that's where I'm going to put the ball. And remember, you're going to put it to the right or to the left of the spine, never on it. So we're going to find that spot, position ourselves in a comfortable way, just like so. And what we're going to do is lean our body weight back and use that as the pressure. So you're going to pretend that this tennis ball is the massage therapist's elbow and your body weight is our pressure, but you get to control the pressure. So when you first start, you come in slowly to use like a light to medium pressure, and you just want to stay there just to use that pressure to help kind of open up that muscle, start to loosen it up. We don't want to go deep right away and trigger any pain. So start slow, ease, close your eyes, and count for about 10 seconds and take some nice deep breaths. Just like that. And then when you feel like that area is kind of looser, a little less tender, move it around to another side. Move it down, move it out. So we're going to hit all that low back, and then we're also going to hit that entire glute muscle. And if you want, you can move it side to side like so, or you can move up and down, kind of whatever you're feeling. And sometimes what I do, I make it into an exercise. And when I'm doing this for more pressure, I do like my wall sits. And I bring it here, bring my elbows down, bring my knees down, and I'll do that as well. So you can do that, kind of figure out what works for you. You can also move that ball, like I said, side to side. And then once you've loosened up that low back area, you feel like, okay, that feels a little bit looser. Then we're gonna work our way down to the glutes. And we're gonna get into that big gluteus maximus muscle to get deep into that piriformis muscle. Now, since this muscle is so big and so thick, you can kind of lean all your weight back into it. For me, this isn't enough body weight, it's not enough pressure. So what I'm gonna do is position my feet differently. I'm gonna turn my hips towards the right, rotate them this way, and then I'm gonna go ahead and lean back, lean back. Y'all remember that song? Oh my gosh, I'm that old. So go ahead, lean back, feel that added pressure, take some nice deep breaths. And when you do this, you don't have to take nice deep breaths. I mean, you can do this and watch your show, you can read, whatever's comfortable for you. And for me, when I do this, I like to just take nice deep breaths. Sometimes I do watch my show and I sit here or stand and I'll do each side for about 15-20 minutes until I feel like all that pain is gone or just kind of alleviated to where I can handle it. So just like so. Then once we're done loosening out that glute muscle, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come this way and we're gonna focus on the hip, that hip joint right there, help the hip flexors. Put the tennis ball there. And what you're gonna do is lean your weight on the opposite side and then lean in towards the wall. Just like so. And with the hip joint, you can kind of move your hips around or just lean in pressure. And sometimes that tennis ball may fly out, you'll get frustrated, but don't worry, the more you do this, the easier and the better it becomes. Just like so. And then what we do is we'll start to work on that IT band. That starts there at the hip, works all the way down to the knee. That's a ligament, a connective tissue. We still need to loosen that up because it does get tight and it gets tender. So just like so, all the way down the side of the leg. Again, you can push pressure in, move it back and forth, just like this. And you get all the way down to the end. And then of course, what you do to one side, we gotta do to the other. Then I'm gonna show you how you can use the tennis ball sitting and laying on the floor to hit the low back and the glutes, but also the hamstrings and the calves. All right, y'all, so we are here on the floor because I'm gonna show you how to use the tennis ball on your low back and on your glutes. So we're gonna start on the low back. We're really gonna focus on those erector spinae muscles. There's 3 different ones. They start from the neck all the way down to the pelvis, but they sit close to that vertebrae. So we're gonna get close to that vertebrae on the low back, but never on it. Just kind of find the area around there where they're sore for you. We're gonna put that tennis ball right there and we're gonna lean on down. Take some nice deep breaths. Now this tennis ball is as if it was the massage therapist's elbow and your body weight is the pressure. So you can put as much pressure as you want. So you can lean in slowly, start with like a medium pressure. Once you feel it's loosened up, you can lean down a little more and add more pressure. So once you feel that that's loosened, go ahead and move it out towards the external obliques like so. You can even go ahead and turn your hips like I am, like this, if you want to try that too, just to get a little bit more pressure, just like so. And once that low back is loosened up, you're going to do the same thing in the glutes. We're just going to loosen up the entire glute muscle like so, leave the tennis ball and roll down. And if that's not enough pressure, you can go ahead and try to put your leg down to see if that will add a little bit more, just like so. We're really going to focus on that piriformis muscle. Some people get piriformis syndrome from sitting all day, maybe driving all day, sitting at your desk. The muscle gets tight, all that pressure is just sitting there. So we need to alleviate that. Woo, that's a good spot right there. And like I said, you can turn your hips just like so to add more pressure if you need it. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen up the entire glute muscle just like that. You guys can go ahead and use your cell phone if you need to. You can just lay here and take that time for yourself. And once you've found that glute muscle's loosened up, you can do like the low back, the glutes, the hip flexors, the IT bands for a good 15 to 20 minutes. So after that, then we're gonna get into the hip joints here. So we're gonna turn this way, like that. Put it right there at the hip, just like so, and just kind of lean down like this. And I feel like I'm doing a photo shoot right now. Once you feel that pressure's taken off on the hip, then we're just gonna start to move it down all the way for the IT bands. And it may be a little tender, so just kind of start with light pressure this way, like so. Woo! Mine's tight, so we'll stay right there. Once this ligament and that starts to loosen up, you'll start to feel that your knee will start to drop little by little. And that's a good sign. Just like that, all the way down the IT bands like so. And then we'll get into the hamstrings and the calves. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to use this tennis ball while you can sit on the floor. And we're gonna hit our hamstrings and our calves. In our hamstrings, we have 3 different muscles, and our calves, we have 3 different muscles. So we're really gonna get in there, use this tennis ball. Right here on the hamstrings, we're just gonna loosen it all up here. You could also start to loosen up the glutes if you want as well. And we're just gonna go ahead and sit like so. And just like this, we're just gonna kind of lean in, put some pressure there on our hammies. You guys gotta remember, we are on our legs, our feet all day as well. Gotta take pressure off these legs, but it does help take pressure off the sciatic area if you do have that sciatica, because it can run all the way down to the foot. So that's why we want to loosen up the hamstrings and the calves as well. So you're just going to start to lean in like this, just to go ahead and alleviate that pressure. Leave it 10-15 seconds and take some nice deep breaths. And once your muscles start to loosen up, you'll kind of feel your legs just drop a little bit, and that's really good. You can come up here and sit on the ball just to go ahead and use it on the glute muscles as well. Loosen up that again. Once you feel like you've loosened all that area up, then you'll come here to the calf, and we'll go ahead and just put pressure down on the calf. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and flex your foot up like so along with your toes, and you'll feel it hit a different muscle. Take a little bit more pressure off that calf. Oh, it feels so good. You can move it back and forth if you like. You can move it up and down, or you can just go ahead and leave the ball there and leave pressure like so. Just like that. So that's how you would go ahead and alleviate that pain and tension with a tennis ball in your calves and your hamstrings, and also a little on the glutes. So try it, see if it helps. All right, y'all, so we are here on the back, and I'm gonna show you how to use the TheraCane on the low back and on the top of the glute region. You can do this TheraCane while you're sitting, watching your TV, and just kind of focus on that, or you can just find a nice comfortable spot in your house to relax and take some nice deep breaths. So we're gonna start on the left side. You're gonna go ahead and get your TheraCane, and you're gonna kind of put it again on the spot that you feel tight and tender. The good spot to put the TheraCane is here along the spine, right in this area here. So we're gonna find those areas, and for me, let's see, where I wanna start is about right in here. So what I'm gonna do is, with my right hand, I'm gonna hold the front of the TheraCane. With my left hand, you can put it here and push that left arm up to add some pressure right in there. Just like so. You can move that TheraCane up and down like so. Then you can move it in another spot. Move it up a little bit if you want. You can use circular motions. You can move this TheraCane side to side. You can move it up and down. Or like I said, just sit there and hold some pressure. You just gotta try to use these tools in different ways to see what's more comfortable for you. Just like so. And then again, like you can move it over to the other side. We're gonna get the low back on this side. Just keep pushing in pressure. Again, hold 10 to 15 seconds on each spot. And then once you do the low back with this, you can even do the mid back if you want. Up here, the rhomboids, get in the scaps, whatever you want to do. But since we're focusing here on that low back, we're also going to kind of get into the glutes and right here on the sacrum. So you can push that TheraCane in there, hold right there on the sacrum. Take some nice deep breaths. You can move a little further down this way like so. Get into that glute muscle right in there. Then you can also put your leg out like this, so you can get into the hip flexor a little bit more. Then you can also get into the IT bands like this, put pressure in, or if you want, you can use the other side, push it in like this, or you can kind of strip it and go up and down like so. Get into that hip joint right in here. You can even get in the glute this way. However you figure out it's easier for you. And I always say, what you do to one side, we gotta do to the other. Get into those IT bands, really in that hip flexor, like so, in the glutes, and again in the low back. So try that, see if it works. All right, y'all, so we are here on the back again, but this time I'm gonna show you how to work the low back and the glutes with the TheraCane laying down. If you don't wanna sit, you can go ahead, lay on a massage table if you happen to have one. You can lay on your couch or you can lay in bed. And if you want, you can go ahead and put a pillow in between your legs. So if you're actually a side sleeper, this works and helps really well, because if you put that pillow between your legs, it helps align your spine just a little bit better. So go ahead and grab your TheraCane. We're gonna start here on the low back with those external and internal obliques, that little fascia right over the Gluteal Maximus muscle. Then we're gonna get in there deeper to hit that Piriformis muscle here, that gluteus minimus, medius, and then of course we can get into those hip flexors and the IT band here. So let's get started. So go ahead and find that sore, tender spot, tight spot on your low back. Let's see where mine is. Feeling it right about there. So with the left hand, I'm gonna pull, and with the right hand, I'm gonna push right in like so. Just like that. Just like that. You can kind of twist it back and forth if you want. And then you're gonna hold it again for about 10 seconds, 15 if you want it longer, whatever your preference is. You can watch your shows and do this. You can close your eyes and try to relax and just focus on yourself. And just keep moving that TheraCane all around that low back, just to loosen up those muscles. You can move it back and forth like so, just like this. And then once you've loosened up that low back area here, again, remember, stay along the spine, never on it. So from the low back here, we're gonna kind of work our way down towards the glutes as well. This works really well in this position for the glutes, just like this. We're gonna go up and down. You can do kind of like in a circular motion to get those glutes like so, just like this. You can use as much pressure as you need on those glutes. Really loosen that area up like so. Then you can put pressure in again. You're gonna push down, just like that. Woo! Feels so good. Get into that sciatic nerve, help your sciatica, pressure anywhere you want around this glute region. And when you do put pressure in like so, you can also go ahead and move your leg up and down like this. Really helps with stretching, can help flexibility, range of motion, just like so. But you want to make sure you loosen up that glute in the low back first before you start to get into that stretching. Just like so. Move it around. You can go up and back like this. Just like so. You can come just straight out. Again, really get in that glute muscle. Once you've loosened that up, kind of work that piriformis muscle, then you can come up here and get into that hip joint. Really get in that way, loosen it up. And if this little ball at the end is too much, go ahead and maybe turn it this way and just use the side, just like this. Or if you want to use that little ball, maybe come this way and just push down on the hip. Really get into that hip flexor, right in so. Or if you want, you can use it on the IT bands like that, but it might hurt a little bit more. So start soft, just like so. Kind of come down like this. Oh, that feels so good on my IT bands. Then you can also hit the quads right in the front of the legs too. Get there. And then of course you can always get those hamstrings in the back as well, because this is a good position for it. Find the spot just like that, push it on in. All around that hamstring muscle like so. You can move it up and down. Once you've loosened it and put that pressure in, you can also move your leg back and forth if you'd like. Just like so. So we really want to make sure that we're focusing on that IT band, the glutes, the glutes, the hip. If you want to get your quads, get that the back of the legs for the hamstrings, your glute muscles, the sacrum, and your low back. So try the TheraCane and see if that works.